blood.
John Tharp is the head basketball coach at Hillsdale College, and you guys are coming off a defending conference championship. You won it last year, and that had to be really exciting. How did that kind of propel you into the off season?
Well, you know what, Andy, it was something that we were really proud of, and I think for all of us in our program, we were really excited that it happened with those 6 seniors that we had, and all the hard work that those guys kind of they put in. They were there at the very beginning, really at year 2, and we thought they did such a great job of leading this program and taking us to that conference championship. And I think from an off-season standpoint, I think that this team has something to prove. You lose 3 1,000-point scorers and some great players. I think that this team is hungry. I think that this group understands how hard it is, and I think this group learned a great deal from those seniors about how to go about their business. And so, it's been a good off season, and I can't believe we're about to tip it off again here.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that long ago that we were down in Kentucky for the playoffs, and here we start another season Friday night with the first game, 7:30 at Jesse Phillips Arena. A couple of seniors coming back. Washburn, the big man, incredible that guy's a senior already. He took a big jump in his game from his sophomore year to his junior year, and I know he's worked awfully hard to get ready for this season. What can fans look for from Big Wash this year?
Well, he has worked really hard, and it's the truth of the matter. We need Wash on the floor instead of 20 minutes. We need Wash on the floor for 30 minutes, and so it's his job to stay out of foul trouble, and it's our job as a coaching staff to keep instilling and showing faith in him as a player. And he's just that experience, to have experience and to be a year older, it just means a world of difference. And we need him to have a really big year. We really need him to have a great senior year for this team to be successful. We're a little bit. He's banged up right now and has been out. He's only practiced twice this off season, and we're not going to have him for a couple more weeks yet. But we're looking forward to having him back on the floor, and he's just such a presence for us inside. And so we're hoping that he has just a great senior, and we need that senior year, and we need that out of him.
I'm interested from a rotation standpoint because last year, if Wash got into trouble early, you would insert Tim Dzelski right away, sometimes a minute or two into the game. I think Tim's probably going to start this year. So how does that rotation change? Who's going to come in for Wash if he gets into some early foul trouble?
Yeah, you know what? I think Timmy will be starting, on that 4 spot on the other side of Wash. And I think if a situation occurs where Nick gets in foul trouble, we're going to have to slide Tim back over to that 5 spot. And I think it's going to be that 4 spot then is going to be held by Kyle Cooper, who is a freshman for us, and also really Tony Nelson, who is a redshirt junior, and we need Tony to have a really good year. And he's looked awfully good in this off season. He's a long athlete that can really shoot the basketball, and Kyle Cooper can do the same thing. He can really shoot the basketball. So it's going to be, we're in a situation where it's been strange for us, Andy, because of we've known, for the last 2 or 3 years, who our starters, who our go-to guys were, and now we're playing with a lot of different things and a lot of different lineups. So it may take us a little time just to find ourselves from a rotation standpoint.
And that's kind of the feeling out process that you have starting every season. And part of that process last year was 2-3 weeks into the year, you started finding minutes for Ryan Chouanier. And before the end of the year, he was a key contributor for you off that bench. What's Ryan's role going to be this year during his senior season?
Well, you know what? He's the ultimate glue guy. He does so many little things for us. He is a terrific passer. He really sees the floor and does a great job with finding open men. He's long and he's a guy that can finish around the rim, and he can really attack the offensive glass as well. And so we're really going to need him to do a lot of different little things for us, and he's going to have to be not only a great glue guy, when he has opportunities with open shots, he's going to have to shoot a high percentage for us. And, Ryan is going to get a lot of minutes at that 3 spot and even, possibly start for us here in a couple nights. And so he is so smart. He's a coach on the floor. and we need him, in a lot, to guard, use his length, and to really help us on the boards as well.
At that two-guard spot, I like Brandon Pritzel a lot. He was a lockdown defender last year. He's going to start for you, but you have a couple other guys in D. Ware and Anthony Mano coming off an injury, a sharpshooter from the outside. You've got some room to work a little bit with that core of two guards, don't you?
We do. Darius brings something to the table that we don't have in our program. He is an explosive athlete. And we think he can be a lockdown defender as well, and he's going to have to do that for us this year. And he can get to the rim, and he's shooting the ball better than he did all of last year right now. And so, we're excited about Darius, and to have Anthony Mano back. Anthony Mano is as good of a shooter as we've ever had here in my time, and that's saying something. He may not be at that Timmy Holman level, but when his feet are set, he can really, really shoot it. And so he's incredibly strong, and he really knows how to run motion. And so, it's going to be interesting because we every game we got to find the three guys that kind of have it going, and then those other guys are just going to have to fit that certain role to help us win games.
Cody Smith handled backup point guard for Tyler last year. Where does Cody Smith fit in at that point guard position coming into the season?
Well, again, he's been hurt, and we just got him back practicing again yesterday, and so Zach Miller, our Division I transfer at point guard, has a bad back right now, and so we'll be starting Derek Schell on Friday, and Derek's done a nice job, and Cody is a young man that we think has a really high ceiling. We just need to keep him. He needs to be healthy. And once he gets healthy, he's got great feet, can score a lot of different ways. And Derek and the two, the scrimmages that we've had, Derek has led us in scoring in both of those games. He can really make baskets. So our point guards, our 3-point guards, we need them to get healthy, and it's going to be a year, I think, we're going to need all three of them throughout the year to kind of help us win games.
I think it's great for Derek Schell. You don't ever want anybody to get hurt, but Schell, he's kind of a guy that's paid his dues and put in his time, and he's going to really cherish that opportunity to start a couple of games and to get that time out on the floor, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Derek's a great kid, and he's worked incredibly hard, and it's a lesson for everybody out there what hard work can really do. And you come in as a young man, as a freshman, and you may not have an opportunity. Last year as a sophomore, he was a backup at times, and really gave us some great minutes. And when we were at Ferris State late in the year to kind of settle us down, and he's just again way more confident this year, and we loved seeing that. We love rewarding kids that are working hard, and we sat down with the point guards today, and they understand it's going to be a three-headed monster at that spot, and I think that they'll do a great job of leading this basketball team.
John Tharp is the head basketball coach at Hillsdale College. You have 3 freshmen on the roster: Kyle Cooper, Lucas Gross, and Nick Archer. Can we expect to see any of those guys play meaningful roles during this season, their freshman year?
Yeah, you know what? Big Arch hurt himself, tore his ACL in the preseason, so you will not see Arch. But you will see the other two. Kyle Cooper will be in our rotation right from the start. And we think Lucas Gross is a young man. He's kind of stuck in a numbers game a little bit right now. He can play the 3 spot and he can play the 4 spot. But man, he does some things in practice that just absolutely wows us. And so both of those kids have played a lot of basketball, come from winning programs, and I think we're going to need those two again throughout the year to play some type of role. But you'll see Cooper very early coming off the bench this year to help us win games.
A couple other questions before I let you go. Tim Dzelski, kind of going back to Tim for a second, his contribution last year was huge. He's an all-GLIAC tournament team last year. He stepped up in big games. He makes shots. He crashes the boards. He's tough on the window. He's a physical defender. I mean, this is the kind of kid you can win basketball games with, and to have him back as a junior now with a little seasoning and a little time under his belt, I really think that Timmy D could have a huge breakout year for the Chargers this season. Have you kind of felt the same way in the preseason?
Andy, absolutely. You know, we even spoke to Tim before he left for the summer that we think that he's a first-team GLIAC type player, and we've asked him to. Last year he just tried to fit in with those other guys, and he's got to change his role and be really aggressive. But he's been he's one of our captains along with Sean Ware and Washburn, but he's been awfully good. And we're truthfully, we're just waiting, chomping at the bit to get Washburn in the lineup with him, so those two can be playing together. So we can do, work a little high-low looks and some things like that. We just haven't had a chance to do that. But I'll tell you what, he's a miserable matchup for people. If you go too small for him, he will really punish you down low. And if you're too big and slow, he can do a lot of things from the perimeter. And so he's got to shoulder a lot of responsibility until Washburn gets back, and really throughout this year, and we're asking him to do a lot for us.
Tyler Gerber was such a coach for you out on the floor. He's a guy that you trust probably as much as any player that you've had since you've been at Hillsdale College. To have your quarterback graduate, I don't know, is that a feeling of insecurity for you? I mean, going into this season without Gerber out there on the floor, how has that transition been, losing a guy like that during the offseason, and how are you going to kind of develop a comfort level with that next point guard?
Well, and I think that's a great question. Tyler and I had a special relationship, and I had great faith in him, and I'm nervous as is going into a season, and not having Tyler there and Brad there kind of took care of a lot of little things for us. It's been a little bit of an adjustment, but I think we have faith in our kids. We have faith in this group of kids that we have, and we've asked each one of them to it's not going to take one guy can't replace Tyler Gerber, one guy can't replace Brad Ganane, and one guy can't replace Brent Eaton, but as a group, as a collection, we need to make sure that we all step up our game and take some more responsibility than they've ever had to. But I like my point guards, and you know what, we think that those three guys together can make up that difference that losing Tyler that we have. But it's one of those things as coaches, you lose great players, and you move on and you develop the next group of young men. And I told each one of them they can't look over their shoulders. We got a lot of faith in you as point guards, and we're just going to keep getting better as a team this year. And so the great thing is these guys are going to be back again next year, and so we're looking forward to the journey that we have in front of us.
Preseason rankings have Hillsdale College ranked second in the GLIAC South. I thought that showed great respect for your program, Coach, that you could lose a Ganane and a Tyler Gerber and a Brent Eaton and still be a top 2 ranking preseason-wise in the GLIAC South. I think that shows that you've arrived a little bit and have gained the respect of the other coaches around the conference. Unfortunately, as you know, the rankings don't really mean anything when the games start. You've got to go earn that, and Findlay's going to have to earn their first place ranking too. What do you, as you look at the conference this year, kind of big picture looking around the league at who you're going to be playing, what was your take on that preseason ranking, and where do you see Hillsdale kind of fitting in during the course of the season?
Well, you know what, and again, we with the coaches were talking, my staff and I, and we thought we would have been closer to 3rd and 4th, with Findlay with 4 of their 5 back, and Ashland has all their starters back, and we thought that Ashland at the late in that season was as good as anybody in the league, and we saw that playing that overtime game, that first game of the GLIAC, and then we thought possibly Walsh would be in front of us. It's interesting with Walsh and Malone. Sometimes those NAIA schools, basketball is their sport. It's not so much that they're able to compete very early in basketball, and both of those programs are going to be pretty darn good. And so, we know we have our hands full in the South, and then I think the North is going to be awfully difficult with Michigan Tech, with returning the Player of the Year returning, and they have 4 of their 5 starters coming back, and Grand Valley has 2 or 3 Division I transfers, and I think they're going to be better. And Ferris State had a little bit of a blessing. They had a young man that got another year back, and he's a terrific player, and they're going to be awfully good. And Northwood really took a step forward last year. And so I think it's going to be really maybe it's now my 6th year in the GLIAC, from top to bottom. I think it may be the best that this league has been. I don't know if we have somebody that's national championship good in our league, like my first 2 years when you had Grand Valley and you had Findlay, but I think it's going to be an incredible league this year. I think it's really similar to almost what you're seeing what the GLIAC football is right now, where teams are just beating up on each other in that Northern Division. I think you're going to see a lot of that same thing here in our league.
Well, the good news is Kyle Kiola graduated.
Yes, praise the Lord.
Thank goodness, huh?
Praise the Lord.
Get him out of there.
We couldn't keep him out of the paint to save our lives. I mean, it was like an open invitation, It was just, we couldn't control him, but I was ready to hand him his diploma. Seeing him walk across the stage.
Speed this up, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Coach, we can't wait for the season. Friday, it's Friday night.
Yeah.
Home game against Olivet, 7:30. We're inviting everybody to come and get loud at Jesse Phillips Arena. Can't wait for the game and can't wait to talk again Friday. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Hey, we want to wish the Hornets the best of luck in football. We have a lot of respect for that staff over there, and obviously Charger football and Charger volleyball as well. But know that we're cheering for that Hillsdale High School football program.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care.